Okay, we're live. Welcome back, everybody, to Arma Guys channel. This is going to be the second part of my Tower Unite stream tonight. I'm probably not going to do everything that I've made, but that last one I had to cut. This one's going to be a little bit longer stream, and I'm just going to take my time with it. But I'm going to go ahead and turn off this camera so you can see everything on my screen. Okay, that's that, and let's get right into it. So, oops, I'm so used. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to turn around and docking the camera. It's not easy. I just have to mouse around. Last time I had a camera set up for this, I'm just holding the mouse button. So anyway, this is basically my World War II museum. I call this World War II Aircrew experience, and I have this open sometimes. Once in a blue moon, I'll host, I'll let people in, I'll let people check things out, I'll basically give them a tour. And so that is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a tour of my World War II museum. And the reason why I call it a World War II museum is because basically it is. It's sort of a recreation of things from World War II that I have slowly accumulated. I originally just started out trying to build this airfield, and there's a couple things in here that I have that I wanted to share. So the first thing I'll start out with, you see before you, is the B17. This is a B17 that I built. This is probably one of the first B17s ever built in Tower Unite. There may have been somebody that's built one before, but as far as I know, to my recollection, I seem to be the only guy really building airplanes in this game. There are some who build airplanes, and there is a person that I know specifically that has built airplanes, but they don't build them quite as often as I do, and in this much detail. An honorable mention, a friend of mine that I have, Murdoch, he has built a pretty nicely detailed aircraft, but it's not like this. This is his is built on to his condo. So this is a practically 1-to-1 scale. My guy's a little big, but this is a practically 1-to-1 scale of a B-17. This particular model, I'm not too sure about being 1-to-1. This was just as close as I could get it. I did all the wing measurements and everything. I laid it all out, and that line stuff is getting really annoying. Anyway, let me show you guys something here. So we'll take the inventory, and I'll grab a canvas cube. And so you have to take these measurements in here and convert them to real measurements. And like I said, this game is like building models, but it's quite extensive. It takes a lot of time to do anything that you want to do when you first start out, because you don't know what you're wanting to actually do. You don't know what size objects you're wanting to use. Once you get used to building, it's a little bit easier, and you can pretty much make what you want in pretty quick time. So this is the B-17 that I created, and this is a Willys Jeep that I created. I'm taking my time here because there's a lot. Not only is there a lot to show, and I'll probably just kind of glaze over everything, but Pretty much everything you see, minus that building there, and this one here, I built. Everything I built in here. The hills, the trees. The trees are objects, of course, but the hills, everything. So, let's see. So you have the engineer seat up here on the top. This one you can't go inside of. If you stick around for the stream on this one, you'll probably see a lot. I'm gonna try not to run out of breath. There's a lot to show here. So I will show you the engines. So usually what I do is I allow people to get up on these engines. I have seats installed. You get up there and you can take a screenshot of yourself up on my engines. Hold Q and you can see the different variation. There's different spots you can sit. I have animation seat setups where you can sit up here and kick your feet. Let me see if I can get up in. It just kind of doesn't want me up there. For the player, it's probably as easy to get into as you see. You just sit up there and kick your feet. So we have the engineer seat, the pilot, co-pilot, bombardiers area. Now this one is built with a combination of different objects that gave me the exterior fuselage look. This is not like a full detail variant of it. I just wanted to see if I could build a B-17 Target. So I did. So here you got the gunners in the back. You got the ball turret here. Bomb bay doors open. The gunner seat. I actually made this one. You can crawl in here, so you can see outside the guns. Okay, so that is the B-17. Now, for a long time, I had here I want to say it was a Willys Jeep from Gary's Mod model. And the guy took it down off the workshop. And so, because it was taken off the workshop, I still seen it because it was cached. But everybody else that came in that would see it would see a little box in it. Well, when I found that out, I realized I have to build a Willys Jeep. So I did. So I rebuilt the Willys Jeep, and this is all canvas pieces. I can turn on the headlights here. I put seats in here to where people that are visiting my museum can get in, and not quite let me press that button because it's blocked by the other seats, but you can turn these headlights on. Actually, just let me hit it, it's just not turning on. I mean, I have them hooked up. Everything is through, let me see if I can just turn this on like that. Yeah, these are touch lights, so you can... That's okay. This is kind of a newer addition to the museum. Each little piece, that's a canvas item that I had to place by hand, slowly but surely, one at a time. So that's the Jeep and the B-17. This is where I like to take everybody that comes in to get group photos and things like that, and crawl up there on the wings, take pictures for themselves. But I'll show you where we spawn it. And what I did was I went through and I put little slash marks in front of the links for the pictures and stuff. That way I wouldn't accidentally show something that I didn't have copyright to. So here is the, I guess it would be the briefing room. So you'd have the guy here and he'd be talking about it and he would show the map. And then here would be your flight order of various B-17s who would be tasked for that particular mission for the day. So you leave here, and then over here I've got the officers' quarter area. Nothing to really see in there. There's another one there. And I won't take you inside these barracks because I have some pictures in there that I really don't want to be shown. And then, But these pictures, not pictures, but these are the what would be the crew quarters, and these are sort of replicas of the house that you would have seen in like Arma 2 or DayZ. They were kind of a pain in the butt to build. I don't know what is going on with this flickery shit in the middle of the screen doing that, but it used to never do that. So here's a copy of the Willys Jeep that I built over there for the museum. I shouldn't say the museum, the hangar. I actually have an actual museum in the game. What I'm gonna do before I show you that to make sure, I'm gonna probably uh, turn off the game view so you can't see the game for a second, so I can double check that I have everything in that museum that I don't want shown, not able to be shown. This is where the officers would gather. I don't have the sign up yet, but I built the building, the window frames, everything you see I built. There's all of it. These I did not build. These are objects. And this is the bar is an object. You go upstairs. You can go to the pool table. I didn't build the pool table, obviously, but the building I built. So. Okay, so I'm gonna make it so you can't see the game for just 1 second here, and I'm gonna take you inside the museum. Before I do that, I'll show some of the other stuff because it's over there, and there's some other things to be seen before that. So the airfield you're seeing, let me just slew up here. The elf, the airfield you are seeing is essentially a real UK World War II airfield called Molesworth. It was the home of the 306 bomb group. And I created that in Arma 2. And then I ended up recreating it in Tower Unite. And so originally I just had the airfield here. There wasn't a whole lot. Now there's a lot more. So these are my P-51s I created, piece by piece, obviously. These took a lot less pieces. They're just basically a couple of good pieces to get a decent fuselage going, and then adding a cockpit in, and then later on I went in and I added some more details for the actual instrument panel that you can see here. It's nothing fancy, really. The tank I didn't build. This is a workshop model. One of these days I'll end up having to probably replace that because they'll take it out and I'll have to build it. 50 cal I didn't build. This is just a workshop object. But one of the things that I allow people to do here, I have the CatSat cat up there, and you just hit E on him and it removes him and it allows you to sit in the seat. And then if you look forward and press about here, it fires the tank, and I have shell effects and everything going on for that. We got a little reload sound. And then he just comes right back when you get off of there. And then I built this RAF tower. It was kind of an ongoing project, a slow ongoing project, and I don't really have it super decorated in here or anything, but I'll go up here. It's nice for viewing. There's a general purpose for this tower. This is basically a replica of what those real towers look like and how they functioned. They would watch from these towers as the B-17s would return from their missions. And so over there, I've got some more static B-17s. I didn't build these per se. Those were basically copies from the one that I built over there, and then I just had to fill back in the things that didn't copy over. If you copy something in Tower Unite and you don't have enough pieces in your inventory to complete it, it won't copy some of the pieces that you didn't have in your inventory. So I had to go back over here and do some more work. So as I'm showing these, you may note little tiny discrepancies. I've pretty much got everything, but some pieces didn't copy all the way over. And so at some point, I'm still building this, by the way. So at some point, I'm going to have it so when you come over here, you can actually enter an area and it will take you to another specific place. So I've got the spotlights going. I've got a little guy sitting here. Yeah, he doesn't have a chair. Don't worry about that. And then over here, I have what were known as, oh, I'll tell you. Hang on. I have them named right here. Not an accurate recreation of the QF 3.7-inch anti-aircraft gun. Just for fun to capture the look. And that's literally what that is for. So these, I got as close as I could to a replication of the anti-aircraft guns used by the British. And that's pretty much that. These aren't on movers. I don't have anything to spin it around. I've considered that, but I've got a lot going on at this airfield. So over here are my P-51s, and I'll walk you through different ones that I have. So here's the double tap to dead. That nose art is by me. And over here I have full Muppet jacket. That nose art is by me. Then I have the freely available image of the American flag. I just kind of threw it on there. That's it's like a freeware source. I just added color and stuff to it and changed it up a little bit. So actually I could say that I did do that nose art. I just didn't actually create the shape and image and stuff. This is Chonk. This is one of my favorites because I plays the seal. And in fact, I think Chonk is the one that flies. Where's it? This one? I don't remember now. I think it's this one that flies. I think Chonk is the one that flies. And so all these were originally static items, and then we got the movers. So let me make sure my mic is on. Okay, my mic's on. Okay, and so then we got the movers, and that changed things because I went a little far with that. I wanted to make things really move. So originally, this B17 that actually flies now, moves and stuff, was a 2D of a B17 cutout that I did, and it was further down on the end of the runway. It was just a 2D piece, like a picture, and then it had these lights on the ends of it to give the idea, a look that there was a B-17 landing. But, like I said, we got the movers. Things changed. Things changed a lot. So this looks like it's the same B-17 that's sitting in there, except this one is gutted out. I actually made this so that you can get in it. Every single place within this aircraft, you can get in and fly from that seat. So what these are is burn pots. I think there's another word for them. But I added these because during World War II, a lot of people don't know this, when these guys would be coming back from missions, they would oftentimes have fog. And runway lights weren't really a big thing back then. They had lights around the airfield, but oftentimes those lights would go out or they would be covered in snow. And if they had dense fog coverage, what they used was a type, old-fashioned type of approach, where they would use these burn pots. And they would be lit up, I want to say, every 30 to 50 feet. And they would basically light up the runway for the returning pilots from their mission. I haven't said all that. Let's go ahead and crawl up in this B-17. And right now, the propellers look a little funny. And that's because it is a little funny. This is my only flying B-17 that actually moves it flies in this game. And so originally I had a static item and I was using ceiling fans. Well, the ceiling fans, they don't allow you to set the blade count. So it does spin, it just looks a little funny having the 5 blades instead of the 3. Nonetheless, I got the effects, and I use multiple different sound files all mixed together to get the right engine sounds. So now, we'll take a step into the cockpit, and I'll show you inside there. Actually, you know what? Let's go through first these from tail to the front. So this is the tail. Ooh, that's the view that you look at from in tower view. Uh-oh. What did you do there? I have each one of these seats set up so that you can look at the view from the tower when you're in it. So the tower view actually will time out after a second. I don't have it set up where you can get out of the view, but that's the reason why I second. This is a tail gun position. You can see the different angles from it. You can't fire these guns or anything like that. I don't have that all set up. But you can definitely ride back here. I've had a lot of people that I've given this tour to come in and ride back here. So these are the waist guns, and you can also get nodes. Just press E on them. And, you know, they don't look like much. They're pretty simple, but this model moves, so I had to make things a lot more simple. You got one on this side, and if you were to go around the other side, you can get in on that side as well. The only thing that I think I don't have on this one is the ball turret. I don't think you can get the ball turret on this. And if you're amazed by this, stick around because there's going to be something absolutely amazing that I took a lot of time on. You can get in here too as well. Oh, I accidentally entered the tower view for it. You can get in this top view as well. You can get in the engineer seat. You can actually see down into the cockpit area. So now we'll go ahead and get in the pilot's seat here, and I'll show you the interior. And I don't remember exactly what each one of these buttons does. I think these are views. This I think is the switch. Can't remember. These throttles actually work and everything. I built these throttles. You also have... I can't actually get out and actually walk inside the B-17 because seats in this game, you get out the same place you got in. So, okay, because you're really not supposed to go back there. But you can kind of see the bomb bay there, just underneath the engineer's position. So it's pretty close to a real B-17. Got the co-pilot seat over there. Let's see if we can get going on this thing. Okay, so that is the bomb bay doors you're hearing opening. And now, I don't remember exactly how this works. It's been a little bit since I've been in this game. Engine speeds. That is the camera view.
Show all connections. I think we'll just hit this one here. Yeah, the crosshair is now on there because I grabbed the gun. Okay, so we're going to taxi to and hold short on the airfield. This is tower. No. That's front view. I think red is rear view, and then blue is wing view. I think this is that's wing view. I don't remember which one's tower view. So we'll hold short here, and then soon we will continue to taxi. And we're going to continue to taxi here. Let's see if this is the tower view. That's the tower view. So the interior here, the light sticks and stuff like that. I thought about making these move, but it's just more movers and it's just more frustration. This thing takes long enough to build as it is, so. I think the only one, the two places that you can't fly in on this one is the bombardier's seat and the ball turret. We're fixing to get airborne here. We're going to turn and taxi onto the active runway. We're going to hold short here for a second. Everything you're seeing, I set up. This is all me. So we're taking off. I'm going to go into tower view. And we are up. Go to the rear view. Watch our landing gear come up. Gears up. And we'll go ahead and control our speeds now. Hear a slight difference in the engine sound. Down there is where we took off from, that's the runway. We'll get a wing view. And this is good fun to ride with people. So I can fit 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I got 4 people right now. 5, 6, 7, 6. 3 of 10, but I'm missing 2 speed. Tail gunner, 2 waist, engineer, pilot, co-pilot. Those are the only seats. If you notice on the exterior the textures are moving like that, it's because some of these textures aren't going to move. You can lock them in place. I've done it before. I just didn't do it for this flight. But you got a hell of a view, you know, coming around the airfield here. I'll take a little screenshot. I mean, it's a really nice view, and this flight path that I set up for this B-17, it took a lot of time. A lot of time. A lot of finagling around, because basically everything that I've learned about these movers, I had to learn on my own through trial and error and experimenting. And so, me making things move and things like that, I've basically just been kind of winging it on everything that I do. And because I used them for so long, I was able to figure out how to make them do the things that I wanted them to do. So we're going to be coming in for a landing here in a second. There's a little bit of weird stuff that happens on this flight path. You'll probably not notice it if you're just in the cockpit. We are descending. We don't have working cockpit gauges and stuff like that because there's just too much going on. You can't really explain to a mover where the ground is. Zero is not quite the way to do it. One of the things that I have in this game that nobody has yet, and I would love to see somebody come forward and say, oh, I had that before you did, because nobody did, is ability to control an aircraft while you're in it. Like literally move the controls in the directions you want to go and not have a mover path doing it all for you. So here we are on the ground. We've landed. Probably going to recycle. That's okay. Just going to go down here real fast. And we're going to hop in Chonk, my P-51. And if everything works, it should work. The cockpit should close in just a second. I don't remember what that one does. I think that's the throttle. And I'm going to try to time this right with the B-17. Hopefully this thing's on a mover. I may have disconnected it. So we're going to wait for the B-17 to taxi by the watchtower over there. He's holding short for the moment. Okay, there he goes, and as he goes by, I'm going to go ahead and start our engine. Cockpit should close any second now. We're going to taxi to the runway. B-17's taxiing. Closed. Turn off the engine. We're off. We timed it correctly. B-17 should start its takeoff roll right as we're about to take off.
If you think this is something, wait till you see what's coming. I'm going to show everything in here, so like I said, this is going to be a little bit longer stream, but I'm taking my time. And we're going to link up with this B-17, and I've set this up to where that I can basically control. I shouldn't really say for sure, the throttle. I may not need to. And I did this, and I timed it right so that when you're flying this, when you come in to visit the museum, you can get up. If you time it right, you start your engine at the right time. you can get up next to this B-17 at about 3 or 4 different points during the flight, and you can take screenshots next to it. Here what we'll do is go into a tower view so you can see the B-17 sticking with the Mustang. They get a turn, and that's our exterior view here. And what we're going to do here in a second is we're going to peel off from the little loop-de-loop there. In just a second, we're going to peel off and away from the B-17. Back around, and we'll probably peel off before we get to. We're going into a dive. We're going to buzz the tower. That's how I usually say hi to a bunch of people at the tower visiting, or they usually will come by and swing past us as we're standing on the tower watching them fly. It's quite fun to watch these guys take off and these things. To me, it's a joy because I created all of it, so, and I made it do everything that it's doing. Nobody did this for me. I created all of it, so I'm pretty excited about this, and I like to share it. But there's a lot more to see yet. So he's going to come in behind, and he should be landing a little bit after I touch down. I'm going to try to go into exterior mode so I can watch my landing here. In fact, let's watch this from tower view. Oh shit, I did that. I hit the wrong button. I just wanted to watch from the tower. Didn't get to though. That's from the front. So close and yet so far. I used to have the wheel dust. I don't know if it fired that time or not. I don't think it did. And so we're back at the base now, and we're gonna park, engines off. So whenever I first start this engine, if you're standing out here, you'll actually see the flames fire from each cylinder of the aircraft. It's pretty cool. You just can't see it from inside the cockpit. Okay, so now that that's all done, they've touched down. There's the smoke from the tires on the B-17. Now, we're going to go ahead and just simulate a little mission takeoff. And I've already got everything set up over there, so we'll go ahead and just make our way there now, if we can get this. Okay, so we are in mission now. And those are flak rounds, and this is a flak system that I've created and set up. I've created the effect of flak using different effects and sound files. There's my WWII, made them as well. That could not have actually happened yet, but we just so happened to arrive as the one that happened. That's okay. I can reset all that. So we have another WWII coming in from behind. Somewhere in here there's guns. Stop the engine. Bit of fire. You can move this back and forth. Okay, so this is a static in-flight thing. We're not actually flying. I just kind of have given the effect that we are. So over here we actually have a formation of B-17s in flight, reship formation. And I don't have the teleport set up yet, so what I usually will have people do is wait there by the Mustang, and we'll just go inside here. But before I do that, let's go ahead and reset these effects. Is that on? Is that on? We'll just leave the wing burn. It's alright. We'll just go in here. So inside here, this is a full detail version of the B17 that I created. At the back here, we have a... This is supposed to simulate a mission over enemy territory during World War II. The image you're requesting does not exist. Okay. They did something with my image there. That's alright. It's just rounds sitting in there. So, if you sit on the seat, hit E, and you can fire the tail gun. And then I've got the different oxygen system set up. Yeah, flak actually will bounce you around. I set it up so it would do that. We got the intercom system, then we have the oxygen regulators. Boy, flak is really tearing this up. I've got oxygen bottles for each area as to where that they would normally be. The wheel area. Tail wheel. There's the enemy shooting at us. So you can get on these guns. And I made it so that it'll move, and you can press E to fire. They're kind of broken a little bit on this one. And I've got the ammo belts here connected to their ammo boxes. And that Spitfire, like I said, I'm working on this so that eventually at some point I'm going to build an actual Spitfire for over here and have a been working on it. Now, some of our... Okay, yeah, those are... The ammo belts, for some reason, on Imgur have decided they don't want to show anymore. Not a big deal. These were heated because all their clothing back then, when they were in the B-17, so B-17s would do missions sometimes at 35,000 feet, and oftentimes the thing that would take air crews out of the fight wasn't the enemy necessarily, but frostbite. They would get frostbite and they would not be available to do a mission for weeks because it was so cold at those high altitudes. This here is the radio antenna. It would be a line that would trail behind the aircraft for them to be able to get different transmissions going. I used to know every part in here. So this is the ball turret. They were mounted on the inside like this to the roof, depending on which one you were in. And I set this up so you could actually get in it. So you can get in from here, and you have a camera, the ball turret. I'm in the camera for the ball. Okay, so now I'm in the ball turret, and like I said, everything you're seeing I made. This isn't just something that was like just added as like a 3D object in a program. I literally had to build each piece one at a time. So, but now you have the full experience of what a ball turret gunner would have seen. And the guns are firing. We don't have the effects set up on. You can hit E and you can fire the effects. And that little thing floating that you see there, that is actually where you would have your foot held at.
this oxygen tank would feed down into here. You can see the oxygen hose that I've set up there, and he would have enough oxygen for about 2 hours or so. And then the next area we're going to go into is the radio operator's apartment. Get on past here. And this is where the radio transmissions were made. Various different radio stacks and different settings for the radio stacks. There's the oxygen tanks for him. Some B-17s had this gun up here. This gun's stowed and put away, but you could. There was a little bar up there on the top. You could thread the gun barrel through and just fire as the radio operator. I think certain models of the B-17 have that later on. So here's the meat and potatoes of the B-17 here, the bomb bay. Before I get into there, I'll show you how I added the lighting effect for the radio here. And then I also have the flip switch, headphones for the operator, and you could also use the Morse code. The telegraph. You can, I was going to set this up where the sounds from this would go to the museum headquarters, but I didn't. And then this is something that a lot of people don't know about, but more people are finding out about because I'm telling them about it. Inside this cockpit area, but inside the fuselage, in the radio operator's compartment, there was a door. It would open up into the floor, and there would be the camera, which would be looking down over the bomb target. And so you can see I got the little camera lens there, a little button there for that. And this massive thing is getting a lot of flack. And so here we've got the bomb bay doors open. I can open and close these as I want. And then we've got our bomb payload. Press E to step on through. It'll take us to the front area where we have now the engineer's seat. And like I said, the ammo belts. Probably ammo belts. But those were definitely my images. I don't know why they're taking that down. They actually made those ammo belts. That image there is the breaker box for the B-17. And then over here is the hydraulic pump. And majority of the systems on the B-17 did not use hydraulic at all. Interesting little tidbit fact. And here we've got my custom made text on this crew. And up top is the closest replication that I could get to the engineer's top turret gunner seat. Just crawl up in there now. And we've got our illuminated gun sight to the front. I should be able to pull this thing. Probably have something. Should be able to control it. There's a control module. There it is, and I can control it. So now I can just look to and fro. And then on these guns, they had a special thing that would prevent you from accidentally shooting on your tail. Bags against hot brass. You had your microphone communication here. Somewhere in here there's a seat heater. Did have this set where you could turn these lights on and off. I did manage to get this turret moving, and that in itself was quite an accomplishment. That was no easy feat. I've got some videos, recordings I did trying to make this. That was fun. So now, once we pass the engineer seat, now we've got the pilot co-pilot seat. Got this light on. Then down here, I've got the switch boxes and stuff, different switches. And I would like to make an honorable mention to the B17 Cockpit Project Facebook page. He was very generous about loaning me different images for me to reference because he was rebuilding a B17 cockpit, real one, and so these images, one of the things that I love about this particular image that he gave me was the light happened to be on. Just brief reason, the light happened to be on in the image, and I was able to add a Power Unite light in there to make it appear as if those lights were actually on. Very cool. It's like got like the boat meters. I can't remember what it was there. And then up here, I set it up so that you can sit in the pilot seat. I have it set so that you can feather the props. Just feathered in. So 1 and 2 are feathered. Feather those props. 1 and 2 should be fine. Okay, these are the feather buttons, and then I go over here to where you would see as the co-pilot, and we can just turn those back on. Mesh starters. Just toggle these here. Should be going again. Got 3 and 4 here. Feathered. Feathered. We'll also reset as well. We're good to go. And then now that we've come out of the pilot and co-pilot section, we will go further down in, and believe it or not, the B-17 is one of the few planes, one of the first planes to be equipped with an autopilot system. This autopilot system was a series of gyros. As we step into here, in the front of the plane, we've got our navigator's position, where you would sit here, and you've got your little navigator's light there, and you can look at the map, various things, different instruments, confirm your heading and direction, communications, the radios, intercom system, etc., etc. Of course, his oxygen regulator as well. And he could also fire again. Oh, we can just look that way. And then over here on the opposite side, this would be used for basically like slip indicator and different other things. It was a phone that would look down and determine if you have wind drift. I can't remember what they call that. It's perfect. And we can also fire these guns as well. And my ammo boxes, like I said, my extra there is not working. This was also provided courtesy of the B17 Cockpit Project, and that is one. I had to clean that up a little bit, but that is one of the very few images that you will see of the actual minimum airplane glide and climb angles for bomb release for the B-17. Oftentimes, I wasn't able to Google and find this B-17 cockpit project that provided me that. Over here, I've got the bombardier's position. We'll sit in the seat. And then if you look over here, I've got the bomb spacing and all that stuff. These levers control the bomb bay doors. Bomb bay doors open, bomb bay doors close. And we've also got red lights on. Bomb doors are open, red light. Right here. Bomb bay doors are in fact open. And here comes the really cool part of the bombardier. So before I do that, I'll show you the unfinished bomb sight that I'm still kind of working on. But basically, it will come across the bomb target, spacebar, and as you can see, the bombs are dropping. It's unfinished because there's still some work to it, but it seems to be working pretty good right now. So I'll exit that, and then we'll go into the bomb bay and see that the bombs have dropped. That dropped. And if you were listening carefully, you could actually hear the echoes of the bombs impacting the ground there. And then we have, of course, just sitting here, click over here, part of the pin turret. The G model is the pin turret. Part of the front. Look outside to show you. I think I have any B button. I'll just roll out real quick. The G model had a chin turret. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to watch these bombs fall. I'm going to go in and do the reset. And we'll come over here and I'll show you where you can normally drop the bombs. Bombardier's position. There's a little bomb switch there. And you would just click that. And you would hear falling. And look out the window, see it falling. Impact. And so that's pretty cool. And we're in a B-17 now that has been pretty shot up. And we're basically having a Mayday situation. So what I'm going to do now is basically slew back into this area. This B-17 is small, so it's easy to kind of get stuck in here, so I have to kind of slew everything easy. So we're going to now perform a bailout procedure. Blowing out the flamethrower. Going to open the bailing door, enter our parachute. And we're going to parachute down to safety. And then this will take us back to the start of the museum. And that will conclude the museum tour. I hope you guys liked the tour because I don't do this very often. I definitely have never streamed it. If I stutter and stammer, I do apologize. I'm sorry. Just have a little bit of a hard time with thoughts here. So I'll show you one more thing, and like I said, I have a museum here. So this is the actual museum, and I've purposely made these images not show up, so there would be no issues with me showing it on YouTube. And here I have the miniature of my museum, or airfield, I guess you could say, and then the miniature of the museum, which says "You are here." I always like to do little miniatures of stuff that I build. And then inside our museum, I've got multiple different notepad books. You open them up and they'll tell you about the different versions of the B-17, the E, the F. And then over here is some old school B-17, I guess dioramas you could say, that I made in Gary's mod. These weren't actually flying, it just looks like they were. They were just static objects. And that was from back in my Gary's mod days. And Tower Unite kind of originates from Gmod as Gmod Tower. So I didn't play Gmod Tower, I just played Tower Unite. But I got a little tank in here. You can see the little P-51s, little B-17. Even the little Jeeps, which I love looking at those. The little Jeeps are so much fun to look at. Okay, so that concludes the tour, and that concludes the World War II aircrew experience. And I hope you guys liked it, and if you play Tower Unite or whatever, excuse me, if you look under condos and you happen to see the World War II aircrew experience, that's me hosting this, or maybe at some point I may put it up on the workshop, maybe somebody else hosting it. But on that note, I think that concludes our stream. Thank you for watching. If you tune in after the stream's over and you're watching this after and you're not watching it live, I appreciate your view, and I think that's it. I do have some more builds from Tower Unite, but I probably am not going to show those right now. Those aren't complete. I'd love to show you guys my C-130 and my new airfield. It's not this airfield. It's a whole new one. But this has taken a lot of my breath away. Take a lot of time to walk through. So on that note, guys, I will catch you next time. Have a good one. Peace.